Hey everyone. um, who thinks it should be legal for people to get married before the age of 18? I mean, getting married means you're gonna have sex. But kids go through puberty 12, 14 years old, 12 for females and 14 for males, and that's six or so years, 4 to 6 years. Doesn't that not set up a pretty long time of rooting around or testing the waters, so to speak? Might pose a few problems like STDs. STDs aren't talked about much in society. STDs is sexually transmitted diseases. It's not something that hits you bang. Oh, I've got an STD. I can feel it. Oh, you've got an STD. When the doctor's doing his prognosis, STDs exacerbate and worsen current ailments. Could be mood swings. Could be headaches. It could be really bad periods. Stuff like that. In the 60s, well, on the news, you often see on the morning show or something like that, and they've got Martha and Jared been married for 70 years or something. Well, they're people, in the 60s, people, I think, could get married at 14 or whatever. Now, it's not as if it's child marriage. Don't take it out of context, because if we live in a society where people have free choice and can get a restraining order against someone, I don't think there's any problem with a 14-year-old. I don't think there's much chance for a 14-year-old marrying an 80-year-old. I don't think it furthers that problem. But children, I think, should be able to be marrying each other well before the age of 18, considering marriage means, getting it on. And seems to go through puberty at that certain ripe young age of 12 and 14, respectively, for girls and boys. I think that's probably a good idea, eh? You'd think. Blessed if it is a good idea. I think you all got a blessing there. How's that? Good. Well, nothing like a good blessing. I've got to go to the doctors to get a form to prove that I'm fit to drive, because it's time for my licence renewal, driver's licence renewal, so I can get my card. I went to the casino the other night, and I needed to get a replacement card for the pokies, and I had a driver's licence that was expired even by 4 or 5 days, and they said, oh, we're pretty strict. And I said, anyway. So we loitered around the casino to ask someone for their card, and could we borrow their card so we could quickly chew through $50 or $100 on the pokies. And you're not allowed to get on the pokies without one of these cards where you put in your PIN number. So we bumped into Mr. Shinahori. Anyway, he said, no worries, come back in 20 minutes. So we came back in 20 minutes to his pokey. He'd been there till 6, from 6 a.m. He'd been there from 6 a.m. and spent a good $600. Anyway, he was going away for 3 weeks. I was lucky enough. He lent us his card and said, oh, you can have it. I'll be back in 3 weeks and I'll just get a replacement card. And I said, don't forget your valid identification. No, I didn't really. He looked like a bloody gangster. I wasn't going to say much to him. Anyway, gangsters aren't that bad. They dress neatly. And I think they're just filling a hole. Well, it's the way of the world. Lock them up in a cell. 8 to 15 years. I think it comes down to common sense. If you're buying heroin or speed or ecstasy, to be careful as I am to remember how many spoons of coffee I might put in my coffee cup. Because we all know 9 people out of 10 are going to die if you put in 4 rather than 2. There's a good chance. You might be running to the car because you're late and you've put in 4 spoonfuls of coffee. Do you know what I think? You give people a shot of criminals would much rather a quick punishment and outcome. Have you seen the amount of people incarcerated in that are what's it called? There's a stipulation for certain criminals. A shot of fear LSD. It makes you very fearful. You have a shot of that, and that will change a person very quickly. Put them in a padded cell, straight jacket on with a helmet, padded helmet. Give them a shot of fear LSD, which is basically Datura, and I guarantee you they'll come out of that ordeal never wanting that to happen again and changing their whole life. Maximum security prisoners equal a fair amount, and what would the savings be considering a maximum security prisoner costs $200,000 per year, and you times that by the amount of maximum security prisoners in Australia, and then wipe off 99% of that number, and then you look at the savings. You lock people up in concrete cells, and you treat them like animals. They're gonna act like animals. 23 hours with an hour out having a smoke in the exercise yard. It's an absolute shame that we treat anyone that way in correctional facilities. It's more coming down to small private businesses running the system like it is in America. But yeah, who likes Donald Trump? He's pretty good, isn't he? He doesn't muck around, eh? Anyway, revival. Isn't revival good? Blessed if revival's happening pretty soon. Blessed if we need to keep speaking about the gifts of the Holy Spirit, the bullcrap Bibles, the fact that women aren't supposed to be preachers or pastors, as it says clearly in the Bible, bishops are to be the husband of one wife. Which other stipulation of, no, it's not a stipulation, it's just something. Are we only supposed to have, we can only have one wife? Lawyers penned quite a few of these things. Children getting married at 18, and then bigotry, I think it's called. I think people should be able to have as many wives as they want, and I think wives should be allowed to have as many husbands as they want. Not that I believe in that, because it's not stipulated in the Bible, but for unbelievers. But I don't think homosexuals should be able to adopt children, nor do I think that they own the colour pink, the rainbow, or the word gay. The colour pink's a lovely colour. Breast cancer awareness will grab that back off the gay and lesbian community. The rainbow is a promise that God will never flood the earth and wipe everyone out except for, it was Moses, his kids and their kids, and then they had to get out off the boat, let all the animals off, and go forth and multiply. Would have been fun. It would have really been quite busy, but all the natural remedies back then, I imagine there'd be quite a few natural remedies, or a seed or a nut, or a berry. It might be a berry that longevity and prominence, and giving it all you've got. Tribulus terrestris, pretty good. But don't let your wife have Tribulus terrestris, or she'll be talking really quite deeply. But yeah. And then there'll be the do-gooders. Also, the do-gooders are there saying don't smack your kids. Well, it says don't spare the rod. He who chastens his son, save him from hell. So it means keep on their back in those years that they think they can do anything they want and they can conquer the world. Well, maybe a good paddywhack when they're younger, but the do-gooders will say this is caveman style behaviour. No, it's not. How about the do-gooders shut the hell up and let people do the responsible thing? It worked in the 60s, and I think it's going to work in 2064, 100 years later as well. And guarana will change your life. No, it won't. Guarana, it's just got caffeine in it. Ginseng will change your life. It's an adaptogen. Ginseng is very, very good, but be careful if you're having a really strong coffee or your usual amount of coffee with ginseng. So hit the ginseng half your coffee. Let it sink in, 3 to 4 days for your ginseng to sink in, and then up your coffee to the likeable level. Ginseng is absolutely brilliant. It gives you a good high. But beware if you have too much ginseng. It's like speed. Natural speed, really, ginseng is. And I've been known, when I was younger, to have quite a bit of speed. But the thing about it is, speed addicts hit sugar, because sugar is a major likeable substance to speed addicts. That's why you see a lot of them with no teeth. And they're the ones that have taken it over the top, just like a coffee addict who has far too much coffee is going to stutter and be twitchy and seem worse or as bad as a speed addict. You know, I've still got my teeth. See? Right? But see, that's I did a bit of speed when I was younger. I did a bit of weed. I've just quit weed for about 2 years now. So I'm feeling on top of the world, absolutely on top of the world, not lying around on the couch. Too much couch time, and that's weed finished for me. I might have the occasional smoke, but yeah, everything in moderation, or I think people know their limits. And the do-gooders all say, no. Drug dealers should be locked up and the key thrown away, and rapists also, and but I think a shot a datura. I think anyone on the receiving end of any law enforcement proactive move against them, being caught and stuff. A shot of fear LSD, and that is guaranteed to change their life, because in that padded cell and with that straitjacket on, they will be begging for death itself. Now, that will change a person. I have been in that position with fear LSD, and the one thing you don't want to do is lie down on the couch and certainly not close your eyes. You'll feel like Peter Pan and the couch will fly off. But you'll feel like a very fearful Peter Pan, and that's about all I'm going to say. But fear LSD will change a nation and save the taxpayer, whatever it means, whatever the sum says when it says fucking... when it says... where it says how many maximum security prisoners are in Australia in jails. And then you times that by $200,000, that's a fair amount of money. And there are a lot of bureaucrats that aren't necessary, and a lot of positions that money can be saved by sacking them, basically, pushing them on greener pastures. Anyway, Angel Craven, bless you. Abaddon, the angel of the bottomless pit. Michael, the archangel. Gabriel, the messenger angel, to give messages and clear stipulation as to what he wants you to do right now. That's all. Catches.